Tyler Ryan with Lexington Woman outside your favorite restaurant, Trevinia Italian Kitchen, Highway 378 in Lexington. If you've seen this recent copy of Lexington Woman, you've seen not the ladies, but the dads here on the cover. And in the middle, Tim Mozley from Ductz. Now, I'm not talking about the quacky kind of ducks. We're talking about the ducks in your house and your businesses. We'll learn about the importance, what the ducks do, and why we need to keep them clean. Let's jump on the couch with Tim Mozley. So, we get a lot of fun people here at the Trevinia Couch with Lexington Woman. We get beauty queens and we get shoe divas. And this time we have got a cover model, right? Tim Mozley from Ductz and Hoodz. This is great. You get signing a lot of autographs?
Not yet, but it's coming.
Yeah. Your wife got it all over the place. She's probably sending it's going to be your Christmas card, right?
I think we're going to walk out of here with about 150 copies, so it's going everywhere, believe me. I think I'm wrapped my truck in it.
Mom's going to have one. Tim Mozley, welcome, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So tell us about Ductz. I'm guessing it's probably not a bunch of hunting stuff, right?
No. Ductz is actually a national franchise. There's, don't quote me on this, there's probably about 190 offices throughout the country. Mm-hmm. I own one of them, pretty much the mid-state of South Carolina. There's 5 others in South Carolina that cover pretty much most of the state. I got into the business about two and a half years ago. Wanted to own my own business. I mean, I don't know how detailed you want to get, but wanted to own my own business and thought franchising was a way to go because didn't have any practical experience from my past, from my family.
Right.
Nobody had ever owned a small business in my family, so I didn't know what I was doing, so I figured a franchise would be the best way to figure this out.
Kind of a turnkey, can't hurt yourself kind
exactly,
of situation.
That's right. Because I know I have an engineering background, and I got an MBA before I got out of the service, so I knew the pitfalls. I know how a lot of small businesses don't make it, and I wasn't willing to risk everything that I own on something that I felt like was going to be too much of a risk. So I went with a franchise, chose Ductz for a number of different reasons. I've been very, very pleased with it as an organization, and of course, it's my company though. They help with a lot of things, but it's my company, and that's how I treat it, and that's how I treat my customers. That's not only Ductz, but it's Tim Mozley that's in your home and doing work for you. So it's important to me that my reputation stays where it is and builds from there, because most of my business is referrals. So it's very important to me.
So let's talk a little bit about the duct work. In your house and the importance of cleaning. It's more than just the AC filter.
That's right.
There's all kinds of different. And I'm probably guilty as everybody. Don't change even my AC filter enough, but I sure as heck don't have somebody coming in clean.
Well, you don't need to worry about changing the filter because that means the ducts will get dirty sooner. So we'll come out and take care of you if you don't change your filters out.
So just keep not changing
That's
them.
right.
I get you.
Right.
So when you actually clean it, when you clean the duct, is it a vacuum, or do you go in and scrape it with those handy dandy Billy Mays products?
Yeah.
Little snake. I mean, what do you use?
Well, it really depends. It depends on what material the ducts are made of. There's 3 primary materials that ducts are made out of in residential situations. You've got metal ductwork, which is great. I love cleaning metal ductwork. You've got flexible ductwork and duct board, or pressed fiberglass board. So it really depends on what kind of ductwork you've got as to how we treat it. Mm-hmm. But the general process is we start the job by hooking up a very large vacuum. It's called a negative air machine. We get a draw on the system so that the air, instead of coming out of the vent, is getting drawn into it. Mm-hmm. Once the vacuum is attached to the system, we'll go run 3 different sets of tools through the ductwork, always working back towards the negative air machine. Starts with a brush. Once again, depending on what type of ductwork we're working with, will depend on what kind of brush we use. Followed by an air whip, which is a rubber hose on a compressed air line. Whip the ducts. Cats love that. And then we'll follow it with compressed air. And so it's not the vacuum that does the work. It's the application, the skill of the technician, and the application of the proper tools that will make sure that we get 100% of the ductwork clean.
Why is it important to clean your ducts, and why does it matter? I mean, it's pushing air. Who cares if it's dirty or not?
Sure. Well, I mean, if you could imagine what your dresser might look like 30 years if you never touched it. You have about half an inch of dirt and dust built up on it. And that's what happens inside your duct system. It's a lot of people, it's don't see it, don't worry about it kind of thing.
Right.
And that's fine, but a lot of people can develop allergies, can develop issues, can get elevated levels of dust, can even see mold growing on their registers or in their home because of stuff that's in the ductwork. So the reason to get your ductwork clean is really an individual decision. It depends on what your concerns are, because there's a lot of reasons to do it, but there may not be one single reason that is universal. It just depends on you.
It could be health, safety, fire hazard. I mean, it can never become a fire hazard.
On the dryer vent side, absolutely, because we clean, repair, and rebuild dryer vents. If that can be a definite fire hazard. On the duct side, you're more concerned with air quality. If it's really bad, if you're pushing 35, 40 years on your house, you can actually get restricted airflow.
Right.
So there's
that's going to show up in your electrical bill too, right?
Yes.
Your pumps are working harder, your fans, and your, what'd you call it, a big sucking, not the vacuum.
The air handler.
Air handler. Technical, write that down. There'll be a quiz later. But the air handler, obviously, it works a little less hard than your electrical bill.
That's right.
Down.
Well, the air handler, I'm glad you brought that up, is an integral part of your duct system, so that's why we clean it also. We don't replace components. I'm not going to get you a new one if it's broken, but I can clean it. It's something that really should be done every 3 to 5 years, the air handler cleaning. And that's really where you're going to get your efficiencies in your power bill. The blower motor, the evaporator coil, those components get gummed up. They get a lot of dirt on them. They're less efficient. The unit has to run longer, has to work harder. You can, if you don't keep it properly maintained and clean, you can really decrease the life cycle, the life of the product. Something that should last 25 years, and Lord knows you want it to last long because they're so expensive.
Right.
If you don't take care of it, it may only go 9 or 10 years, and there's usually no warning. I mean, that's a lot of people know. Yeah, and any of those major components break, and it's
always 3 in the morning, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
You wake up and you're soaked in sweat because your AC shut off, and it's August.
It always happens in the heat or the cold.
That's
so
right.
just count on that. But maintenance is so important, and the cost of maintenance is so much less than the cost of replacing.
As we get into the fall seasons and kids are back in school and people are inside more, what are the considerations you might want to keep in mind if you're thinking about ductwork or just in general? Just as education, how does it happen? What are the effects?
Well, as you move into the colder months, the fall and winter months, you're going to be spending more of your time indoors. There's usually more of an emphasis on air quality during those months, whereas in the summertime the windows are open if it's not too hot. Right. I guess I shouldn't say that about South Carolina. It's hot every day.
It's hot every day here, brother. Come on now.
But you're more confined spaces. I mean, that's why the flu spreads better in the wintertime than the summertime. So that would be a time to start thinking about that stuff if you haven't thought about it already.
Germs and things. Obviously, kids are at school and coughing, hacking on each other, and they're coming back in. And the air is just getting circulated within the system. So it's a good idea to have it cleaned. If you haven't had it done, different folks will tell you different time frames on when to clean the ductwork. The National Air Duct Cleaners Association says 5 to 7 years. I can't argue with that. My experience, unless there's other factors that'll contribute to the ductwork getting dirty, such as pets or kids in and out all day, a lot of dust, living on a dirt road, all of that can contribute to ductwork being dirtier. Lack of filter maintenance. Right. My experience is 10 to 12 years is probably a good time. So if your house is 3 years old, your ducts are probably fine. If you're having allergies in the house, it's probably related to something other than the ductwork. Could be the air handler, could be a completely different issue. But we look at houses of all ages. Can you come out and tell that in an estimate or visit a home and say, obviously you're straight up with people.
Yes.
You know what, you don't need it yet. If you're having issues, it's not because your ducts, call me in a couple of years. Can you tell whether or not a home needs it, or does somebody call you and then they're in?
Absolutely, and I actually do that a lot. If somebody calls me for a 4 or 5 year old home, I'll open up the air handler during the inspection. I love it when the homeowner follows me around because they see what I see. If the air handler looks fine, the ductwork's only 4 or 5 years old, I'll tell them, there's probably nothing I can do to help you right now. Call me back in a few years, but we'll open up the air handler, look in the plenums if we can see them, access the ductwork wherever we can. I try not to open up the ductwork during the inspections because that can cause that's drilling and cutting holes and Now during the service we'll do that because we're prepared for that. During the inspections though, I'm gonna look everywhere I possibly can, and generally that's going to give me an idea of the condition of the system and be able to give you a straightforward, honest interpretation of what might help you.
So there's a lot of companies that do similar work, telemarketing, and all kinds of efforts. Why Ductz? Why Tim Mozley? What sets you? Sell yourself now, brother. What sets?
Sure.
What sets you apart from other people?
Well, I think it's the process. I think it's the process that we use to clean ductwork. It's a little bit different than most of the other companies out there. And not to talk bad about them, everybody has a different way of doing things, but what I always tell customers is, if you're considering getting another estimate, absolutely call 2 or 3 other companies. And the key things that I ask them to make sure that they question the other companies are on is, what's your process? We talked about it earlier as far as using the negative air and the three tools. We're in the attic, we're in the crawl space, we're not just cleaning from inside the house. So what's the process? How long is it going to take? On your average 1,500 square foot house with a single unit, you are going to be there between 4 and 5 hours. Okay. A lot of companies are there for half that time or even less. And while I can't tell you, I'm not there when they're cleaning, I can tell you what they're doing isn't what we're doing. It's a different process because my technicians are very, very good at what they do. They've been doing it for a long time. They do 2 or 3 of these a day. It takes that long to do a proper duct cleaning.
So if they're trying to whip it out like a McDonald's, and they're probably not giving you...
If they're in and out in 2 hours, they missed something. There's just no other way. Believe me, there's 190-something of us. If there was a better, more effective way to doing it, I'd be doing it. Because there's that many owners out there all thinking about ductwork every day. So if I come across an idea, I'm going to implement it, and I'm going to let everybody else know about it.
Now, you do not only residential, but you also do commercial.
That's right.
Work as well.
To date, the way I've built my business is through relationships. I develop relationships with a lot of other contractors, HVAC contractors, sure. Mold contractors, remediation, fire, smoke, and water damage type contractors, and I get a lot of referrals that way, plus customer referrals. So that's the way I've chosen to grow the business. That has led me into predominantly the residential market, but we do a fair share of commercial. And honestly, I'd like to move more into that market because it's there's a lot of dirty ducks out there in the commercial. There's a lot of dirty ducks out there in the commercial side of the house, but we do a nice blend of both.
And you also have a second. Ductz is one franchise.
That's right.
It's DUCTZ.com.
That's right, with a Z.
And the other one's Hoodz.
That's right, with a Z.
Hoodz.
That's right. We clean kitchen exhaust systems. My other business is Hoodz, and that's a franchise also.
But they're sister franchises.
That's right. They were created by the same main office up in Ann Arbor, Michigan, is where they're located. Hoodz, we clean kitchen exhaust systems in restaurants. It's dirty, nasty work, third shift, but it's got to be done. It's grease and effluent accumulates in those systems, and it's got to be cleaned out. That is a fire hazard, so that's why that service is mandated. I got into it because I felt there was a real need in the marketplace. It's the same reason I've built Hoodz the same way I've built Ductz, with honest service, and we show up on time. We do what we're going to say. We wear matching uniforms. That's surprisingly hard to find. And our trucks are clean and properly logoed. So, all of that I think is important. It's not the reason why, but I think it lends itself towards trust.
Trust and credibility.
And credibility. That's the biggest thing. Anytime somebody's in your home, you always feel kind of awkward about that. You're not sure about that. So, my bottom line is, and all of my employees that I hire, they need to be able to look you in the eye, shake your hand, do what they're going to say they're going to do, do what they say they're going to do, and follow through with what I've told them, what we're going to do for a service.
So if Hoodz and Ductz wasn't enough, you've also added another service to the empire, the Mozley empire.
That's right. Well, actually, carpet cleaning is our newest service, and that's under Ductz. Mm-hmm. And we've expanded our product line for a number of reasons, but we now call it Ductz Total Care. Okay. And the reason for that is we felt, as a franchise, like carpet cleaning was an integral part of indoor air quality.
Right.
And we want to be able to bring a total solution to you, total care.
It must be all tied together then, because
it really is.
Dander and dust in your carpets, get into your ducts, and
that's right. So I've found myself, even before I knew that we were getting into that side of the business, that I was referring carpet cleaning. I say, duct cleaning is one of the, several things you want to consider having done to improve the indoor air quality of your home. And I thought, when I heard that Ductz was going to start offering that service soon, I was very excited about it. Mm-hmm. And I was in the first training class for it. One of the first franchises to really bring that in and take it to home. But we did it right. It's not like I just went to the store and rented some equipment and we're good to go. We actually went through.
Electrolux out there.
That's right. That's right. We went through a week training course, got IICRC certified, and invested in some pretty good equipment. So we've been in the carpet cleaning business for a couple months now, mm-hmm. Since May at least. I guess we're pushing 3 months, and had some very good success with that. So no longer do I have to refer that side, that business out. It's something that we can come in and just, work with the customer and take care of them completely.
Total solution package.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Tim Mozley, Ductz. You know, with the school kids and inside more. Get them changed. Don't worry about the filter for the AC, apparently, because the man needs to eat. Right?
5 kids I need to eat.
Thank you for joining us on the couch. Make sure you pick
Thank
him
you.
up, right? And he'll come and actually autograph your copy of Lexington.
That's right, no charge.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Take care.